move on, and I know you maybe touched on this a little bit, but it's something that we've been quite defensive of in this pod, and there's a few of the guys who are probably listening who maybe want to jump in and chat here, but in the comments. But for me, there's a bit of a turn in Morelos' performance at the weekend. Brian, what do you think about that? And I mean a bit of a downturn, and it pains me to say it because I've been a real big advocate of Morelos and what he brings to the team out with his goal scoring. And even this season, I've not seen him drop off like this. But what was your thoughts on Morelos' performance at the weekend?
I've seen snails move quicker sometimes. His mobility was just terrible. It was like he was expecting the ball to go to him rather than him make runs or do a bit of donkey work. But yeah, it is noticeable when his performances don't sort of are up to the standard. Rangers seem to sort of dip. It could be a coincidence, I don't know, but his mobility is definitely not as good as it used to be. He used to run the channels, do a bit of donkey work, but it's definitely dipped off. And for what reason, I don't know, but he does. He certainly looked as though he's got a bit of extra poundage on him on Sunday.
See, I know, Scotty, you said that in the match reaction as well, and I thought he came back looking really trim. I don't know, because he didn't really have a big pre-season because he was away playing with Colombia and then maybe got 2 or 3 weeks off. But I thought he came back looking really trim. Do you think he's regressed?
Yeah, I do. I think I said it. I thought after 10 minutes it was a battle of the fatties between him and Griffiths. I looked at Griffiths and I thought, how is he a professional footballer? And then I saw Morelos. I was like, wow, that shut me up pretty quick. But yeah, we've all been on holiday. We've all piled into the buffet a bit more. But when you come home, you don't continue on the buffet. And it looks like he has. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But when he came home, we all saw the pictures where he was out. Now, to be fair, it was potentially one picture, but he was out in the car park, giving it, doing his own pre-season training. And you thought, well, hold on a minute, maybe actually he's going to be right up for this. But no, I totally agree. I kind of thought as well. Just looked a bit slower and just that's spot on. He just didn't look interested. And I think he's one of the ones, because he's such a good outball. See, when we're up against it, you want him on because he picks up the silly fouls. He draws in the fouls. He buys his time, and when he's not interested, I think you notice it even more than some of the other players because he's so important when he is on it.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on, because if you notice what he does, particularly in the domestic games, and it would have been a great benefit to have him do it, is when the ball goes into the channel and it goes forward, maybe we've cleared our lines, he's very quick on the defender, and it stops them being able to just punt the ball straight back up the pitch. He stops doing that. Even getting within 5-10 yards of them, it gives them the time just to hump the ball. It just causes us problems. Just because he can't be bothered to either find the right area of the pitch where he ordinarily would be, or he just can't be bothered to chase it down. So it is frustrating. But hey, this is supposed to be positive.
I was going to say, that said, with a positive, fantastic assist though. So
the goal was fun. I mean, the goal was one of the best goals I think we've scored this season, and his little touch there was perfect. And it's a funny old game. Did I just say that anyway? People have different opinions, and there's Ray saying that he thought he would have gave pass marks to him, and we've said that on this podcast all this season, where Morelos is doing a lot different work than he'd done previously. And he's not a goal scorer. He's more of an all-round player. I think he'll be a better player, Brian, when he does move on for probably the last year and a half that he's had. But you're not giving him pass marks, are you?
I don't know if the goal for the assist. I'm struggling to remember what else he kind of did on Saturday. I'm struggling. It was. I mean, I'm not saying anybody else was far better, but there wasn't many that got pass marks on Saturday. Put it that way. There really wasn't. I want to just keep this real, so we'll go into something positive in a minute. But I think there was probably, I don't know what you felt, but I thought there was maybe another person on the park that played equally as bad, or maybe even worse, and that was Connor Goldson. And Scotty, is this getting? I don't want to talk about his contract, but is this what it is? Is this the problem? Is Goldson's contract the problem?
If you don't want to talk about it, don't ask me.
I want it from you. Give us it.
No, it's not at all. It's just, look, when you're a professional footballer, and I know I sound like I'm talking like I was one, but I played a lot of football, and
Ricky Foster.
You can't. You went there. Fucking hell. Right. So you can't expect to go through your entire career playing at the best of your ability, and sometimes you are going to dip in form. Now, what's exacerbated that is the fact that we've had zero continuity, either with the goalkeepers, with his right back, his left back, or his centre defensive partnership. And Goldson is a player that he's apparently the most vocal, so he's the one that can organise it. But if he's playing with different players each week, it's not going to help. And it really showed because the defensive line that we were playing, it was like a turret of a castle. It was all over the shop. And yeah, it's obviously there's problems. He is making a couple of individual errors, which are being exacerbated because they're leading to chances or goals, which sometimes you may be able to get away with. I wouldn't put it down to his contract. I think he's perfectly happy here. If he goes, he goes. I think in his head, the decision has been made nonetheless.
What is that decision?
He'll be focused.
What do you think that decision is?
No, I don't know. I hope he stays. I've spoken to a few people, and they're convinced he's staying. For me, we don't know what the situation is with the contract. Whether the contract is on the table, it's off the table, they're negotiating. Where we are, this is the thing. I suppose we need the questions to actually be asked. These specific questions. Where are we with the contract?
Elaine, are we just being too critical too early? Because we are top of the league, and it's only 6 or 7 games in. Are we just? I know Brian's an advocate. This one we've spoilt last season. Are these players just not performing at the levels that could be a once in a lifetime season last season?
Potentially, yes, because I think, especially if you look at the start of the season, we went away and dropped points. What was it at Tannadice? And in any season anyway, you can go and do that. Last season was such a freak season. It was so good. Of course, it's never going to happen. We're never going to get that again. If you had given us the opportunity to be in the group stages of the Europa League, if you'd given us 6 points ahead of our City rivals, but still top of the league by a point, in September, we'd have all bitten your hand off for it. I think the reason why we're being more critical though is because we know from previous seasons that how quickly it can fall apart, and I think we're just urging the team to get on and to start finding a bit of form, because we can all see it. We can all see that there's the potential there to really crack on, open up a lead. And potentially, if we kept going the way we're going, we could have a really almost insurmountable lead by Christmas. And I think that's the frustration, and that's why we're all coming back, and we are all we're not negative, but we're probably spoiled last season, and we're just desperate for it this season again.